They were seconds away from burying a living man. And the only witness to the truth was a dog no one was willing to listen to. Blaze, the golden retriever who had never once caused trouble, suddenly snapped. Clawing, scratching, barking like he was warning the world about something unseen. The family begged him to stop. Neighbors tried to drag him away. The doctor insisted it was animal grief. Even the funeral director raised his voice. But Blaze knew something they didn't. Because beneath that white coffin lid, beneath the flowers, the prayers, and the tears, someone was fighting to stay alive. And the dog was the only one who could hear him. This is the story of the dog who refused to let his owner be buried alive, even when every human in the room thought he had lost his mind. The funeral home was quiet, almost unnaturally quiet, the kind of silence that presses on your chest and makes every breath feel heavier. People filled the room with hollow eyes and trembling hands. The young officer in the coffin had been loved by many, respected by all. His sudden collapse had shocked the entire neighborhood. The doctor said it was certain. The papers had been signed. There was nothing to question. Except Blaze. The golden retriever walked into the room slow at first, ears pulled back, tail low. His steps were hesitant, not scared, but searching, like he was listening for something only he could detect. A few people whispered, "Poor thing. Dogs always know when their owners are gone." But Blaze didn't behave like a grieving dog. He behaved like a dog on a mission. His head snapped toward the coffin. His body stiffened. The quiet rumble of a growl formed in his chest. And then, he lunged. People screamed as Blaze jumped against the coffin, claws scraping the wood. He barked, louder and faster, each one sharper than the last. "Stop him," someone yelled. Two men rushed forward, grabbing the dog by his collar. But Blaze fought with everything inside him, twisting, pulling, planting his paws into the floor like he was trying to anchor himself to the coffin. "He's grieving," the doctor said firmly. "He doesn't understand what's happening." But the doctor was wrong. Everyone was wrong. Blaze wasn't grieving. He was warning them. The barking changed. It wasn't sadness. It wasn't confusion. It was urgency. A tense panic began spreading across the room. People exchanged worried looks. Some stepped backward. Others inched closer, drawn by something they didn't yet understand. Why was this calm, loyal dog acting like something inside the coffin was alive? Then suddenly, Blaze stopped barking. Just stopped mid-growl. He lowered his head slowly, almost cautiously, and pressed his ear against the coffin lid. The room froze. Every eye locked onto the dog. His tail stopped moving. His breathing slowed. His entire body stiffened like stone. Something inside that coffin had captured his attention. "Is he listening?" someone whispered. A few family members stepped closer, their grief-strained faces tightening with a mixture of curiosity and fear. Blaze didn't blink. He didn't move. Then he whimpered, a soft, trembling sound, filled with fear, not sadness. "What is it, boy?" an older woman whispered. But Blaze wasn't looking at her. His eyes stayed fixed on the coffee. "N." Blaze nudged the coffin with his snout. Gently at first, then harder. People gasped. What did he hear? Is he sensing something? "Dogs can feel spirits," someone muttered. Others shook their heads, refusing to accept anything beyond logic. One young man knelt beside the coffin, placing his palm on the wood. At first, he felt nothing. Then, a tiny vibration tickled his fingertips. Barely there, barely real. His eyes widened. I think I felt something." Gasps filled the room. No, that's impossible. You're imagining things. Dead bodies don't move." But the young man stepped back, hands shaking. "I know what I felt. It moved. And then, a faint sound. So soft it could have been a trick of the mind. So soft no one could be sure. So soft, except to Blaze, who reacted instantly, barking again with renewed desperation. On. The tension in the room thickened like a storm cloud ready to burst. People pressed closer. Some prayed. Some whispered. Some cried, not from grief, but from fear. Then it happened. A second sound. Clearer. Stronger. Undeniable. A thump. From inside the coffin. The older man nearest to it stumbled backward, clutching his chest. A woman screamed. Someone dropped a rosary. Another cried out, "Dear God." Blaze went wild, scratching the coffin with frantic energy, tail rigid, eyes sharp. The funeral director's voice cracked as he whispered. That came from inside. Panic erupted. "Open it." "No, wait." What if we're wrong? What if we're not? Voices clashed. Fear battled hope. Doubt collided with terror. But before they could decide, the coffin moved again. A strong, unmistakable knock. This time, louder than anything before. This time, no one could pretend they hadn't heard it. The family gathered around, trembling, hands unsteady, hearts racing. Every second felt like an eternity. Careful, someone whispered. Hurry, someone else cried. The lid creaked open slowly, painfully slowly, like the universe was stretching time on purpose. And then, a breath escaped from inside. A faint, fragile gasp. A sound that shattered every rule of life and death. Chaos exploded. Get him out. Somebody call an ambulance. He's alive, he's alive. They lifted the young officer out carefully, terrified to harm him. His skin was cold. His breathing was shallow. But he was breathing. Blaze leaped forward, licking his face, whining softly. Like he had been waiting for this moment all along. They carried him through the rain, which had begun to pour outside as if the sky itself was panicking. The car engine roared to life. Family members yelled directions. A neighbor prayed loudly. Someone cried uncontrollably in the back seat. Blaze refused to leave the man's side. He climbed into the car, planting his head on the man's chest. The officer's breathing was faint, but present. Every passing second felt like a countdown. When they reached the hospital, the doors burst open. Doctors jolted into action. What happened? He was in a coffin. He's alive, just help him. The disbelief on the medical team's faces was unmistakable. They rushed him down the corridor. Machines beeped. Nurses shouted. Doctors moved with lightning desperation. Blaze tried to follow, but the ER doors slammed shut, separating him from the man he loved. The dog sat there, waiting, guarding, refusing to move. Minutes turned into hours. A nurse opened the door to check, startled to see the dog still sitting like a statue. He hasn't moved, she whispered to another nurse. I've never seen loyalty like that. Finally, the doors opened again. A doctor stepped out slowly. Everyone froze. Even Blaze stood up, ears alert, eyes fixed on the man. The doctor took off his glasses, exhaled deeply, and said words that lifted the entire world off their shoulders. He's alive and stable. If you'd brought him even a few minutes later, we wouldn't be having this conversation. Gasps, crying, people hugging, people collapsing from relief. But Blaze simply walked into the room like he knew this outcome all along. The officer lay weak and pale, breathing softly. When Blaze approached the bed, something happened that made everyone cry. The man's fingers twitched. Weak, barely noticeable, but purposeful, reaching for the dog who refused to leave him behind. Doctors called it a medical miracle. The family called it divine intervention. Neighbors called it unimaginable. But the truth was simple. A dog saved a man's life. Because love never gives up. Because loyalty doesn't doubt. Because a dog hears what the world ignores. That day, Blaze didn't just save his owner. He proved that some angels don't have wings. They have fur. If you believe dogs are more than pets, that they are protectors, heroes, and silent guardians, like, comment, and subscribe. For more real stories of unbelievable animal miracles, your support helps us bring these life-changing stories to the world.